Greetings, Smart Stars. This is Mad Patrick. Well, I'm back in my chair, which means it's time to talk about some computer games. But not just any computer games, Humongous Entertainment games! Well, in every computer games review, I usually look over one computer game from each development company. This year, I'm doing something different. Instead, I will be focusing on one series of games from one company, Humongous Entertainment, known for creating some memorable characters like Putt-Putt, Freddy Fish, Spy Fox, and more, as well as creating multiple point-and-click adventures for our favorite heroes. These adventures were so popular and memorable, they keep re-releasing them on newer platforms. So for this review, instead of looking over one Humongous Entertainment game, it's 10 of them. One adventure or series at a time. However, there are a few exceptions I will not include for this review because I haven't really played them yet. There's Big Thinkers, the Junior Field Trips, and Moon-Based Commander. But the rules of computer games review remains the same. No letter grades, just personal opinions. Let's go over these journeys to see how big they really are. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. We're about to go on some junior adventures because we're going to play some humongous computer games. We begin our journey with the first humongous game that just so happened to be the first Putt-Putt computer game, Joins the Parade. This, along with Putt-Putt Goes to the Moon, are the only times when Putt-Putt was a pixelated character during Humongous' early beginnings, often referred to as the Humongous Classics. In his first adventure, Putt-Putt talks to Smokey the Fire Engine about entering the Pet Parade. In order to join, he has to get a balloon, a clean car wash, and his very own pet, which is a dog named Pep. It is a short game, but the reason why this is the seed that grew the Humongous Entertainment series are the fun clicks spread all over Car Town. They contain a bunch of funny stuff that are worth re-clicking over and over again. There's even some free time events you can do during your stay, like watching Putt-Putt, giving a new coat of paint, mini-games at the toy store, or help the car citizens with their laundry deliveries, many of which contain a series of puzzle solving. Even going to your next destination contains an obstacle you must either use Putt-Putt's car abilities or find a specific item around Car Town. Not only are there different types of vehicles, but many of them have a personality of their own, like Smokey, Mr. Baldini, and Mrs. Airbag and her son. Even though some of the cars look the same, there's a game where you had to find a car that matches the photo given to you at the movie theater. The game had a solid start by selling 300,000 copies during the 90s. From then on, it influenced Humongous Entertainment to make more Putt-Putt games and, of course, new original characters. It may not be that much, but Putt-Putt Joins the Parade is a good start on producing the point-and-click adventures. I know what you're thinking. Boy, the Raggedy Ann and Andy musical adventure is much weirder than I remembered. Well, actually, this is another old Humongous game called Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise. One night, a teddy bear named Fatty Bear comes to life along with the rest of the toys so they can plan a birthday surprise for their owner, Kayla. They have to set up the balloons, bake a cake, and collect some letters to say happy birthday. True, it's short as Putt-Putt Joins the Parade, but the problem with it is that the concept of toys coming to life wasn't really that groundbreaking for this point-and-click adventure. Some of the other toy-to-life adventures before and after this had a series of unique characters and their own world building to distinguish with one another. I'll give it that it is cute to see the toys playing Kayla's birthday to show how they care for her, and the visuals are still nice to look at during nighttime, but the toys don't really offer a lot in terms of characters, and this also applies to Fatty Bear himself. He doesn't really have any personality or traits on what makes him a memorable Humongous protagonist. Putt-Putt is a cheerful car that loves adventures. Freddy is a detective girl that uses truth and logic to solve a problem. Pajama Sam is an imaginative boy that must face his fear and do what's right. And Spy Fox is the witty but sly agent that always saves the day. But with Fatty Bear, all there is to him is that he's the good-hearted bear. We don't know his special talents, favorite things, or anything that makes him stand out to the other hero characters.
Look out below! Hey, I found the garage door opener.
The only toy character that's interesting is Matilda the rabbit because she can use her ears like a helicopter. At least she provides something interesting as a stuffed animal. The game tried to add some spice to it by having this puppy who escaped Kayla's presence and caused some mischief around the house, but chasing the dog around the house is not as fun as it sounds. This is one of the reasons why we never see him again in any more adventures. Instead, they have him resort to cameos in the other Humongous games. Maybe it would help if there was also a scrapbook mission, like have the bear find pictures of Kayla and her toys to show all the memories they have together. That would be a thoughtful present, and we would get to know these characters better. It was worth a try to create a toy adventure, and it still has a good heart, but the only surprise that Fatty Bear can give to us is not giving him more sequels.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Freddy Fish is back on the case, but this time, she and Luther are going to school. Sort of. When the two fish arrived at school, there's a ghost haunting the place and stealing the Guppy's toys. As they go after it, Freddy discovers the ghost is a fake. She came up with an idea to capture the Phantom Scooby-Doo style, but they need a couple of things to set up the trap. Some are inside the school, while others are outside the boundaries. This one is mostly pretty good, and with each playthrough, the required items are highly different than the last. The sequel also brought back characters from the first one, like the Squid Father and his sharks, Eddie the Eel, and Ray. And apparently every character had their own musical number. Yeah, if you click on a musical instrument, everybody seems to be in a musical mood. Even Freddy and Luther have their own song at the beginning of the game if you click on it.
I've had my breakfast.
I've got my books.
Comb my bin.
Check out my looks.
You know, the funny thing is, the more I listen to these songs, a part of me wonder what a Freddy Fish musical would be like. We already have a Dr. Seuss musical, so why not Humongous Siskel? This is also one of the rare instances where you get to play as Luther whenever you enter this small cave, and he actually plays a significant role in the sequel involving his show and tell toy. Plus, it's the only Freddy Fish game where humans make an appearance, and it's during the mission to get the chocolate-covered worm noodle. The purple sea urchins made a comeback to buy a pulley from Barnacle Bob, and they've been used for money in the later games ever since. For everything else in the underwater world, the animation is still amazing. There are a lot of new places that are worth remembering, like the ruins and the submarine. So yeah, this follow-up is much better than the first, even though the ghost identity is not really that surprising. But the multiple playthroughs on collecting each of the trap items makes the puzzle-solving experience a lot of fun. This sequel deserves a perfect score on its report card.
Heading off to school. Our day's begun.
Every superhero has got to have a sequel, whether it's a movie or even a video game. And seeing how I already talked about the first Pajama Sam adventure, it's now the follow-up's turn. Thunder and lightning aren't so frightening. It was a dark and stormy night, and Sam had had enough of this thunderstorming business. He went up to the attic, which sends him up to the clouds to a weather factory called Worldwide Weather. He confronts the stormy duo, but their talk about feeding the planet thing quickly resolved that issue. But Sam tripped on his own cape, unleashing this philosophy, and he accidentally hit the big red button, breaking the 4 weather machines, sun, rain, wind, and snow. As Thunder and Lightning work on maintenance and other works, Pajama Sam must find the 4 living pieces to reactivate the machines before Mother Nature finds out. So it's sort of like Sam's first adventure. Instead of facing his fear of the dark, it's thunderstorms. However, it is really nice that he no longer has interest to stop all the thunder and lightning once he meets the 2 gals himself. And I'm gonna say this right now, Thunder and Lightning are an adorable team. You got one who's more calm and relaxed, while the other is pretty much paranoid on what is going to happen.
Thunder! Thunder, there's someone in here!
Oh, calm down, would you, dear? It's just a little boy.
And some of the missing piece characters do have some memorable moments, like Wingnut is grouchy, and Velo is the quiet and shy one. When it comes to the factory, it does look like a cool place to work in. There's a greenhouse that plants fruits and produces weather storms, the snow machine checks for non-identical snowflakes, and a shrink ray that can shrink you to the size of a bug. And the sun machine makes liquid sun in a can like tomato juice. But if you still miss those adventures in the Lane of Darkness, the sequel weirdly has a lot of continuity to the first one. There's a mini-game where you have to find Pajama Man comic books, the boardmen are actual board members, and they have trivia questions like the Brain Tinkler for their business application. But the one character that made a massive return is Carrot, the one who wore Sam's mask to free the carrots. However, like the previous mission, the playthrough still has different variations on where the machine pieces are and what you should do to help them. But in this one, there's a game set up at the main menu that allows you to choose whatever playthrough you want if you're interested. That's pretty neat. The game does have a collection quest like last time, except you had to find puzzle pieces. Nothing groundbreaking, it's just references to the first game and Pajama Man. Now the game's opening, that was awesome because we do get introduced to other superheroes and villains from the Pajama Man universe. You got Earthquaker, who's a parody of the Quakers mascot. Dust Devil is this evil twister that looks like the Scarecrow. And then there are the Lunchboxers, Captain Gelatin, Milkman, and Hero Sandwich. The Sandwich is a superhero. This is a comic book I want to learn more about. Actually, the funny thing from the game isn't even the cartoon Sandwich. It's the phone call when he called each of the departments. My personal favorite is the complaints department because the coffee mug who's taking the calls is the one that's doing the most complaints.
And my back. Oh, I'm starting to get a sharp pain in my lower back from sitting in this stiff chair.
The game's imaginative and colorful. It's a follow-up that proves that having a superhero follow-up isn't so frightening. And remember, Hero Sandwich will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Oh boy.
Boy, we've been on a sequel fever lately. What's this one selling? Well, it's Spy Fox's turn with some assembly required. He received a clue at the out about a robot dog assembly kit that's going to be used to take over the world. The villain this time is Napoleon LaRoche, who maximized the canine machine into a monsterverse character and planned it as the centerpiece at the World's Fair. As soon as 1 million guests use the entrance turnstile, it will produce enough energy to activate the dogbot to start its rampage. The only way to stop it is by finding the off switch, going inside the machine, and input the activation code to turn it off. Like its predecessor, you do get some new gadgets, and you had to gather some information using talk balloons. Some of them are cool, like a grenade filled with termites, and a camera that prints out real keys from a picture. But the best part comes from the opening, because it feels like you're watching a spy film. Spy Fox gets chased by the bad guys, and he uses the dehydrated skis to escape and head back to headquarters. And you make the decision on which escape route should he go. We get some development from the villain on how exactly does the secret weapon work, and he has his own backstory that he wants revenge on everyone over his small size. The game does have some variations on where the activation code and off switch are at, but you can only enter the robot dog with a food breath recognition device, like Onion Delight or Pickle Pot Pie. I wonder what will happen if one of LaRoche's goons ended up brushing their teeth or eat something else.
Come on, Bernie, you gotta help me get in. Sorry, Matt, you got to eat your Onion Delight instead of pepperoni pizza. That's all we ever eat during lunch breaks. We don't even have drinks.
The World's Fair looks amazing, and it does have some amazing exhibits like Food on a Stick, the Clone-O-Matic, a wax museum, and a miniature exhibit called Wii World. Plus, Walter Wireless does return to help Spy Fox, only his role is more prominent than last time. He helps Spy Fox to retrieve the off-switch code by meeting his associate inside this fancy miniature house.
Astounding. There is a bathtub in the floor.
Another recurring character that came back is Bee Bear, where she's now a massage therapist. And as always, Monkey Penny gives Spy Fox some updates through his Spy Watch, and Professor Quack makes the gadgets and eats the blueprints. And just like last time, the sequel contains a good or a bad ending if you are able to catch up to LaRoche into his secret sewer base. Finally, as a bonus, the end credits have a Spy Fox song that's meant to parody the James Bond themes like Goldfinger. And it's sweet as it sounds. Spy Fox, some assembly required, definitely feels like all the pieces have been put together nicely. This game has our eternal gratitude.
It was all in the line of duty.
I'll be honest, I never really grew up with any of the Backyard Sports games. I guess I was too focused on the other adventure games, or that I couldn't find them at the store. What I do know is that Backyard Sports is a popular sports video game. There are tons of sports the Backyard kids play, whether they're classic revivals or reboots. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and soccer. Many of them were even licensed by major sports leagues like Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, and more. It's so crazy! When Playground Productions secured the rights to the Backyard Sport games, they eventually released console versions of the first game, Backyard Baseball. So after playing this Backyard Sport for the very first time, I thought this one was pretty good. It is exactly what you think when playing Backyard Baseball. You form a team and you must defeat the opposing team by hitting the ball and reach the home base throwing the ball to strike them out, or catch the ball and tag them out. Yeah, it's no different from every other baseball video game. But there are some explanations why Backyard Baseball is a popular game. For starters, they treat the whole match as a legitimate baseball stadium. There are 2 kid commentators that summarize everything that is happening during the game. The opposing team keeps doing the bat swing taunt. They even have a TV screen to capture where exactly the ball lands and what the players are currently doing. You can practically make your own commentary like the other 2 kids.
A bouncing ball.
Gotta watch your kneecaps on those taters.
And he's safe.
It's the Humongous Fishes versus the Peaks Valley Pickles. The visiting team may have sort of superpowers, but the home team can still battle them with their own sort of superpowers. Another thing that's amazing is the entire roster of baseball players are surprisingly 3-dimensional. Not only do they have their own set of skills that stands out in the field, but you can remember them easily through their personalities or other features. There's a glasses kid named Dimitri who's very intelligent. The Weber twins prefer to play together than separate. Pete Wheeler is not the brightest, but he's one of the fastest runners. Even the mascot of the games, Pablo Sanchez, has a lot of character. He speaks Spanish, and he's known to be the most talented, athletic person of the entire Backyard team. And keep in mind, there are a total of 30 baseball players you can choose from, and I just talked about a few of the members from my first team. The more you play the game, the more power-ups you get later to help hit or pitch the ball harder. Now, the game does contain a series of tournaments, but there's no coherent story that ties to everything. Not even a special ending you need to unlock. It just plays like a casual baseball tournament. But with so many characters, team names, and special moves, it makes you want to give all of them a try. It's so popular they made an anime special and create a new Backyard game for the first time since 2015. I may not be into sports video games that much, but Backyard Baseball is a major home run.
What an exciting game. Everybody's so happy out there.
Blue came back for more Blue's Clues, possibly the biggest adventure she ever been on. This is another game based on a popular Blue's Clues episode, Treasure Hunt. However, the storyline is different from the show. In the original, Blue and Steve had to figure out who set up the treasure hunt in the first place while finding scrolls with their own set of riddles. In this CD-ROM game, the main goal is to enter the Land of Great Discovery, the place where all your favorite treasures can be found. The only way to get there is to, of course, play Blue's Clues and figure out what are her friend's favorite treasures. Next, you have to solve some riddle scrolls and find the character that has the next one. When you finish both of them, you must find the treasure bug and answer what are Paprika's, Mailbox's, and Magenta's treasures. At the end of each level, he'll give you a key to unlock the Land of Great Discovery. I do like in this Blue's Clues game that it acts more like an epic side journey. Sure, they already had one with the birthday cake quest, but this one requires you to play Treasure Hunt if you want to go to the next chapter. In addition, the game does expand more on the show's homeworld by going to the park or school. And you can't have a Blue's Clues episode without doing the Blue's Clues do to other places, with characters sharing the same creativity as Blue and her friends. There's an art museum, a town made out of recycled items, and a land that's home to nursery rhyme characters.
We'll hunt down those numbers and you'll be climbing up that clock quicker than you can count to 10.
You mean 12.
As for the minigames, there's a variety of them during and after you finish Blue's Clues, like collecting leads, a lost and found memory game, a cassette radio that plays some popular songs from the show, and the handy dandy notebook acts more like a jigsaw puzzle with a few extra pieces to try and stump you. When you do get to the Land of Great Discovery, it acts more like a sandbox game where you make your own treasures and plant them around the fields or treehouse, followed by a Pong-style computer game about unlocking treasures. Though I wouldn't mind if the Land of Great Discovery was more like a Blue's Clues adventure like the first 3 chapters, like maybe have a goal of finding Steve and Blue's favorite treasures or the treasure bug himself. Still though, the treasure hunt is just as amazing as the birthday adventure. It has some smart puzzle solving and incredible animation. This entire adventure was definitely a precious treasure in our hearts.
I love that song.
Let's talk about Pajama Sam again, but this time with a different game genre. While the other Humongous games are known for their puzzle-solving point-and-click adventures, Put-Button the game do have some small adventures that are a bunch of mini-games. These are referred to as junior arcades. You don't really explore or click any funny bits around them, they're just a series of arcade games that you can play or customize levels yourselves. In Socks Works, Sam's mom tells them that it's time to fold his socks, which I always thought it was a spiritual successor to the first game's side quest. and he has to get them done before he goes to school in the morning. But the problem is that there are so many socks and Sam wants to rest for the night. He dreams that he has a sock filling machine to get the job done. Your task is to operate the conveyor belts and set the socks in the correct color bin. As an arcade game, I thought this one was a lot of fun. There's a lot of mechanics and customized belts that makes the levels surprisingly challenging. The main story can go up to 100 levels, and after passing through each of the 10 levels, it becomes harder to arrange the socks and keep them from falling off. There's some color paints that change them, including a hue version to switch all of them out, a couple of springers that can push them to different tracks, and when the socks are on a red-pink belt, you can't change any direction. Only the blue ones can. But if you think you're ready to wrap things up, there's a switch that you can speed up or slow down the level. Now the biggest catch of these arcade games, there are no cutscenes that happen midway through the game, only in the opening and at the end of level 100. Also, it turns out this is not the first Humongous game that has a game like this. It was actually done on the airport junior field trip. Instead of arranging socks, you send some luggage into their correct spots. But going back to the Pajama Sam game, this is the only time where Sam doesn't wear his cape to become his super alter ego. Though I had to ask, what kind of parent gives their son a late night chore? Seriously, they establish it's like a school night and Sam's mom's telling him now to fold his socks during his bedtime. Isn't that like telling them to do the dinner dishes 3 hours later? Anyways, for an arcade game that's all about laundry, it is an imagined idea. The designs are innovative and there are unlimited possibilities on how you can create these levels. Who knew arranging socks could be so much fun? Another character that had her own arcade game is Freddy Fish in Maze Madness. This one is similar to the classic game Pac-Man. Luther accidentally opened up Grandma Grouper's kelp treasure chest for some war noodles. Boy, there's a lot of callbacks to these first games. Freddy's mission is to collect all the seeds in each level and bring them back to the chest. Since it is a Pac-Man style arcade, it follows the same gameplay as one. There's all the dangerous enemies you have to avoid, some power-ups to help you, and even some bonus rounds to score more points. And it is impressive that each of the 5 levels are tied to something underwater related, like sunken ships or kelp mazes. However, I do have one issue with the controls. Whenever you click on a spot you want to send Freddy to, the responses are sluggish and often incorrect no matter where you land your target. You are allowed to use keyboard arrows, but the results are still the same issue. I get it wants to emulate the joystick controller, but playing on a computer is not the same as playing on a video game console per se. Thankfully, the game only has 50 levels, unlike Sam's Sockworks. In addition, there's an actual setting that allows you to make the levels easier, if you don't have the patience to play the game normally. There's an option called Junior Helper, where you can activate unlimited lives of peanut butter and jellyfish sandwiches, and have an unlimited supply of bubbles to trap the enemies. Still can't beat the classic Pac-Man, but Maze Madness is a good enough successor to the non-stop, snap-munching, ghostly adventure.
It's worm doodle time!
Yeah, right, Luther.
Save the zoo and forget Cabot, save the zoo.
Seeing how we started this video with a putt-putt game, let's wrap this up with another putt-putt game. It's Putt-Putt Save the Zoo. This was the first putt-putt game where the animation style is changed from pixel to hand-drawn artwork, and no big shock, it made Putt-Putt even better. In this adventure, Putt-Putt went to the Cartown Zoo to deliver some zoo chow to the zookeeper, Outback Al. But the zoo is not ready yet because some of the baby animals are missing, so Putt-Putt must explore the zoo to find and help the missing animals. Even though my favorite Putt-Putt game is still Travels Through Time, the Cartown Zoo is the most awesome zoo ever made. It's split into 3 areas, Grassland, Jungleland, and Arcticland, and they come with a variety of games and activities. There's a hockey mini-game where you have to face a polar bear, the Grassland have a paint shack where you can change Putt-Putt's color. You can even have him ride through the rapid water like a water theme park ride. All of these places, regardless of their attractions, do feel like you're seeing animals out in the wild, and they give you multiple facts about them through these intercoms. Though it is bizarre, in a world filled with talking cars, I never knew vehicles can talk to animals, or that penguins like beatbot music. Another thing that's a lot of fun is when you get a camera at the gift shop, allowing you to take pictures of the animals and other characters at the zoo. Not really required, but it doesn't hurt to take a few snapshots during your stay. Now this game doesn't really have any multiple walkthroughs like the later Putt-Putt games. The only alteration is during the semi-sealed mission where it requires a different shaped wrench to open the water dam. Everything else is basically the same problem for each of the animals. A mouse scares baby Jumbo, Skeeter is freezing, Kenya is stuck on the waterfall, and a few others. But seeing how Save the Zoo is a massive upgrade to the old Puppa games, it still left a massive impact. It still shows some unbelievable things around the zoo, as well as a catchy song from the topiary creatures. It's a real jungle out there, and Puppa Save the Zoo made it an expedition worth remembering. Okay everyone, playtime's over. Thank you so much on this trip down memory lane. It was definitely a blast to look over these famous Humongous Entertainment games, and there will be more AT discussions next year along with the rest of the other computer games. And there could be the chance in the future that I will do another themed computer games review like this one. Also, if you have a favorite Humongous Entertainment game, feel free to leave in the comments below. For now, let's take a break from these adventures for a little rest and relaxation.
I'm Mad Hatter Patrick. Now if you excuse me, June has arrived. And it can only mean one thing. Toy Story Month! Ow! Huh? Okay. Hey! Let me out of here!
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.